that too. Something else that I wanted to show you was how to do writing. So one of your buildings is going to have some kind of writing on it. It can be the name of the restaurant, the store, whatever. It could be your name. So when you do that, it's still going to be in perspective. So let's say I'm working on this building here. I want to do a sign. I'll name it after me. It's my drawing. So I'll name it after me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just draw it like I was going to draw a set of windows. So I'm using my vanishing point, right? I'm on this side now, so I'm using this vanishing point. Remember, always, if it's on the left side of the drawing, you use the left vanishing point. If it's on the right side, use the right vanishing point. I'm going to do that same thing I did for the windows. Only now I have more like a box. Right, and I want to make sure my lines are vertical, so I'm lining up my ruler with the bottom of my paper. Okay, I want to make sure that my lettering gets smaller as it goes towards the vanishing point. So these lines there are going to help me do that. So when I go to write my name in there, I'm just going to do my last name. All right, if I take up the full space, it'll naturally, get smaller. All right, so I'm just going top to bottom for those lines I drew, and those orthogonal lines are going to help condense my lettering. So now same thing as what I was talking about with, the door frame. Think about how lettering would look on a building. Chances are it's probably more than just a printed letter. So you could like bubble it out, you could do some fancy script. Up to you, but try to give it some pizzazz. All right, it should be fun and engaging to look at. Okay, now I could choose to I could leave these lines in to make it look like it's on a sign, or I could erase them out and my letter would still be in perspective if I just wanted to look like it was like painted on the side of the building or something like that. And then you want to include some type of texture on your building. So you could draw bricks, you could draw stone, stucco, and you would do that the same way as you would any kind of window or door. So actually I'll show you like bricks, for example. So let's say I want to put bricks on this building. All of my lines for my bricks that are the sides are going to be connected to my vanishing point. So they're all my orthogonal lines. And I'm trying to keep about the same size line each time. So the spacing is pretty much the same. So I'm just pivoting my ruler. The back end always stays connected to my vanishing point. So you just want to check as you're pivoting and make sure it stays connected there. And I'll do one more. Okay, so that's for the sides of the bricks, or the top and the bottom of the brick. So those are all connected to that vanishing point there. When you go to do bricks, you want to keep the vertical edges straight up and down. So here's what I do. Here's a kind of more simple way to do it. So you're going to do a vertical line, skip a line, vertical line, skip a line, vertical line, skip a line, all the way down. So you're going to skip every other line. So if you don't skip every other line, it's going to end up kind of looking like a checkerboard. You want to avoid that. So now we just want to slide the ruler over a little bit, and we're going to work on the ones we skipped. So we do a vertical line on those ones. So every other one, but it's the ones we skipped. And we just keep alternating that. way. Okay, so now I'm back to my first one. And then I skip a line every time. Yada, yada, yada. It's looking to me kind of tedious. However, it pays off in the end because you have a really realistic looking brick front. Alright, and then we'll put one more in, I think. It should do it. Right, and that would be bricks. So really the difficult part is, you know, doing all the orthogonals, and then you just got to remember to skip every other one to get that kind of layered brick effect. So now also I want to make sure that I go and I add windows and doors into this. So I'll start with a door. So I can kind of make it a little easier for myself and use these straight lines, the vertical lines that I made to make my door. So I can just do one there, and I'll move a little in. One here. All right, and then my orthogonal line that I drew right here can just be the top of my door. All right, and I would just erase out the brick that's inside there. Now I would do the same thing for the windows. And last thing is some kind of greenery or shrubbery, some kind of plant that is outside. So you could do a tree. Let's say I want to have like a tree on the sidewalk. Maybe I'll make like a little box from a tree. Okay, so just so it doesn't look like it's growing out of the middle of the sidewalk, I'll make like a little dirt patch for it. So I'm using this vanishing point for this side, and now I'm going to use the opposite vanishing point to create the other sides of my box, just like I did for my sidewalk. So it's still on the sidewalk, so I'm doing the same little trick. Okay. All right, and I'm going to put my tree in this little box, make it look like it's coming out. So I'll do the trunk, and maybe I want to, you know, split it a little bit, erase out the middle where it's going through my buildings. All right, and then just create some leaves on it. So I just do little kind of like expressive little squiggly lines, gives us the idea of leaves. You don't want to do like a hard edge like that. You want to keep it really kind of loose and wiggly. And then anything that the tree is covering, you want to make sure you erase it out. So you don't want to leave in part of a door, because the tree would be covering it up to whoever is viewing it. Okay, I have a little tree there. Put some roots in the bottom. And then now I have, you know, a little box for it. I can make this look like it's some dirt. Put some texture on it for the bark. And there we go. A lovely tree. Okay, so you can do that, or, you know, have some plants coming out of like a planter box on a window. So totally up to you how you want to get creative with the plant. So a lot of the time that you spend on this is going to be on the detail work and going in and getting it to look, you know, like a real street corner would look. But once you have the basic principles of perspective down, you should be able to kind of gauge the size of things and you know, what it should look like depending on how far away it is. Now, just for example, I drew this tree pretty close to the corner, so it's going to be pretty big. If I were to do another one back here, it would be pretty small, because remember, everything kind of shrinks as it gets to the vanishing point. So 6 buildings total, Every building has to have a window and a door. You're gonna have to do some kind of texture like brick or stone or stucco or wood, up to you. And then some type of plant in at least one part of your drawing. You can always do more, but that's the minimum that you have to have for this assignment. So take your time, make sure everything is in perspective, and draw lightly. Have fun.